was asked of me when it comes to the 3D Universe Spring Dynamics script about using deformers, and I haven't figured out very much. And to be quite honest, asking me, the person who doesn't even get to have the PDF that everybody in the forum here is talking about having, um, having to figure it out the hard way, which I mean, whatever. This is what I have managed to get it to do so far. And my assessment of the script itself is a little bit more fleshed out, but it's pretty much the same as my last video. Really, really limited. I did use it to pose his hair here, and I had to manually pose the ponytail here. And you know, it makes good quick effects for like little things like that in animation where things are going to be straight down. But when it comes to the kind of flow that I would have preferred, and especially this ponytail, not so much. It's definitely not a go-to for everything, just certain situations, and you're going to want to be very, very aware of what you're doing, and what you want. You know, it's just no. Like I said in the last video, it's great for setting up the base, and then you got to go in and tweak. And mine has problems. I don't know why it is. I installed straight through DAZ's cloud, and so it's not like, you know, I've got like a borrowed copy or anything. It's one that I paid for, and am currently thinking if mine's going to be wonky, that perhaps I deserve better. I'm probably going to end up having to email the support help about the matter. But anyway, so what I had to do to get the deformer to even do anything is well, you know what, let's start from scratch so you can see me do it. I select the hair because it's the hair I'm still working on, even though I'm about to close this scene out. Deformer for me is over here. Create new, deformer 1, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go to the field. Now I'm setting it up how I used to do with mCasual script, because this is essentially the same bloody thing in my book. I mean, with some perks. It's like mCasual script with perks. Okay. Okay. Alright, I don't want it to... So we've got the field, and this is how it's going to be affected. I've got it as red as possible at the bottom because that's where most of the weight in the ponytail will be. And now the deformer. And from here, if I just... I'm going to try... You know, I haven't tried this yet. First thing I'm going to do is I'm not going to move the deformer. It's on the hair itself, and I'm going to select the deformer 1 base. I'm going to run my script. Animation range, strength, all that kind of good stuff, sure, whatever. What happens if I do that? I'm going to just do that. Now, I did make sure it said include follow, and it's following. As he backs up, as he twists. See, and this is the part where if this were D-force based, it would fall back naturally. So that really bothers me that it doesn't, you know. And then he comes forward, and the ponytail does not follow his movement. It just kind of started to, and it's still moving. You can see on the tip there. Or the tip. You can see how the deformer is indeed moving around. And that's, you know, it's not much of a movement, but, you know, there probably should have been more. Haha, very funny. Undo. It's just easier for me to hit undo as opposed to telling the script to undo it. Alright, so now I'm going to put the deformer base on the ponytail itself. And I'm just going to select the deformer base. And what I discovered is when there's only one thing, include follow, it just kind of senses it and says screw you. Apply effect. He's not moving. Why isn't he moving? There he goes. My computer's slow, guys. I need $4,000 so I can get it to where I can do these things nice for you guys. What can I say? And the deformer is still deforming. Kind of, but not really. So then I'll put it on the final bone of the ponytail, and I'm going to select that. Okay. Let's see what happens now. And it's really moving. So where that deformer node will help determine where it's going to be, but it looks like it's best if it's on the final bone, so it can follow the final bone and the final bone can kick it and up it comes. Like, I actually like that effect a lot. That is nice. And I like how it made the hair spread. So this is a technique that if I'm needing a flowy look for the moment, I will probably do. I'm going to do that one now. Let's see if I tell it more than one bone. What do I got? I just wish it would stop taking away my limits. It makes me sad. It's even more flowy. So there you have it. Looks like the best technique is, especially if he wants to impale himself with his own hair, is to have it on the final bone at the very end, so it has something to follow to swing around with, and then you tell that final bone to move. Possibly then, because let's say that, okay, I've got the deformer. Because what if you want to put it on the hip and you want, because say the big belly to move like in their promo. So let's try. I'm gonna get mad at my scene, and then I'm gonna tell deformer create new. Oh yeah, I gotta select the whole item because you know once upon a time you could select one bone and do that, but not so much anymore. Okay, create new, and I'm gonna tell this the freeze zone, because I'm not going to want it to do anything. So freeze zone, which looks like that. But I'm going to tell it 0. So like, wow, that's interesting. Okay. I'll tell it 1%, huh? And I'm going to take freeze zone, and I'm going to put freeze zone on the bottom of the ponytail. And now I'm going to take my deformer that actually does stuff, and I'm going to do that. Because I'm curious if I can pretty much make the deformer an extra bone, so that if it moves around, it doesn't matter. So that so that the other ponytail bones don't have to be moving. Because if you've got something and say the belly doesn't have a bone in it, you would have to go to some other bone, like say the hip, and use the hip as your free zone. So this is me experimenting, everybody. Da, 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 da. See what I get. And it worked. Oh, it worked well. So there you have it. It doesn't care if it's a bone or not that you're touching. All the script cares about is if your translation and rotation things can be manipulated. That's all it cares about, and it will release your freaking limits. That's actually pretty good, and I'm going to take that deformer and I'm going to destroy freeze zone. No, 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 no. I'm going to keep free zone. I'm keeping this is what I'm saying. I'm keeping this, this setup. So, ooh, how do I keep this? Sad. Actually, you know what? I'm not, because one thing I'm doing, another thing I'm doing is I'm adding more bones to this prop, because of the way it works. Is me struggling with a headache while I try to talk to you about this matter. The way this prop is, it's individual strands in the ponytail, thank goodness. So I'm going to be giving the individual strands their own bones. This thing's going to have a whole lot of bones to manipulate. And my intention is whenever I run the script, I'll like select just that set of bones and have them run and do it again and again. This way with different settings so that I can get a more flowy look out of it. I'm going to try it now. I think I've got, because I've got B ponytail started, if I could just find it. Yeah, it's not set up yet, but that's what I'll do, and you can see, actually, you know what, I'm going to see what will happen. I'm going to select only ponytails, and you can, I'm only going to select the top bones because of the include follow situation. First I'm going to, there, and maybe it'll just let me see what happens to the bones. Include follow, retain frame. I'm going to tell it really, really drape it, buddy. Just move it around. So far, so good. Exit. Let's see what happens. God, I wish my computer was strong enough to let me scrub. But you see how they're like following the same path? So in order to get the drapey feel that I want, I can try probably two methods, I'm pretty sure. I would be able to set different limits per ponytail, like say the new ponytail that doesn't have anything. Well, heaven forbid that my limits stay on. I got the buggy version and it is pissing me off. Okay. Of course, this guy doesn't have any limits yet. Oh, it looks like he's got limits. So I would, look at that, that's kind of cool. I would actually, I'm thinking I can set different limits to get different effects per bone. And look how the flow is completely different. So one way to do it without having to like run it a million times would be to have different limits per bone on this prop. So that's what I have found so far. I don't know if I'll be making another video, but I hope that the discoveries I have found are enough for you to experiment with. But definitely experiment, especially if you're like me and didn't get to have any documentation, because that would be wrong.